Hello Saddlers fans and welcome back to Saddlers TV. It's the first episode of the brand new season of your TV show and we're going to be bringing you closer to Walsall Football Club from right here in our brand new studio from Walsall Studio School. For this, the very first episode of the new season, we're going to be looking towards the future. We're going to be chatting all things academy and philosophy with Academy Manager Graham Biggs and Academy reporter Tom Heslop in just a few moments' time. But first, let's see how the first team got on last weekend. It was tricky weather conditions all over the country last week as the Beast from the East beared down on the UK. But the Saddlers travelled down to Southend on Friday and 119 Saddlers fans joined them in Southend-on-Sea on Saturday. And they were treated to quite the spectacle. Let's see how the lads got on at Roots Hall.
Southend are on a 3-game winning streak at Roots Hall in the league for the first time since February 2016 and will be seeking a continuation of that today against Walsall. Walsall are now winless in their last 8 League One matches on the road and lie 17th. Southend have won their last 2 league meetings between these two sides, whilst Walsall have won just one of the last 6 visits to Southend in League One, failing to score in 4 of those games. And it is a very, very cold afternoon. See the effect the weather has had on the pitch as well. To the ground staff though, because the game does go ahead. And the opportunity to flip the ball into the penalty. Header was a decent one as well. Turn. Slice clearance. Started so positively and it's stabbed towards the goal. Keeper makes a very, very good save. Roberts made himself big. Keeper once more. Launch long. It's a really good ball. Good chance as well. Southend just about got bodies back there. Collected well. Driving at the heart of the Southend defence. Strike on goals. A good one just faded at the last moment. Both sides with plenty of endeavour, but struggling to find the bit of quality required to break their opponents down. Might come here though. Ankles acute. Goalkeeper makes a very good save. Correct. Pick up the loose ball as well. Bundling into the penalty area. Tuma opens up, takes the shot on and squeezes it in. Well, that's the quality that he possesses. Doesn't need much time and space to make it work. Just shifted enough space to take the strike on and fizzed it past the goalkeeper. Walsall leads. Well worked. Free kick as well. Southend frustrated, but Walsall do have the set piece right on the edge of the penalty area. Ostuma the favourite to take it, you would have thought. It is Ostuma. It's exactly the same spot and exactly the same outcome. Ostuma doubles here, and Walsall's tally for the afternoon. And the away sides are in firm control now. Spreads the play well. Could be a chance now for Walsall to really wrap things up. Nicely worked. Options inside, one of which is Ostuma, and there is the hat-trick. Thoroughly deserved from a standout performance in this second half. Ostuma bags his 3rd goal of the game, and it's all 3 points for Walsall now. Second half performance from Ostuma. And there goes the full-time whistle. It's a hat-trick, a second half hat-trick from Ostuma, and Walsall have beaten Southend by 3 goals to 0.
Post-match, John Whitney and Ehon Ostuma spoke to the press about the 3-0 win.
First senior hat-trick, how delighted are you right now?
Yeah, really delighted. You know, in these conditions, obviously it was hard to play, but yeah, 3 points was the most important thing. but you know, to score 3 goals is, you know, it's great away from home, and yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, there was a lot of doubt about this fixture, certainly when you see the weather back home in the West Midlands, but fair play to Southend, they got it on, and I'm sure you're glad that they did in the end.
Yeah, you know, we were looking forward to it, to be fair. We came a day early, stayed at a hotel, we was prepared. It was a little bit different, you know, we came earlier, you know, we came in the morning, which was a bit better. We had more time to relax and just get ready for the game, so that might have helped. But yeah, we're glad that, you know, the Southend fans helped get the game on, really. So you know, thanks to them, you know, we got the 3 points.
John, a lot of effort was made by everyone here at Southend to put the game on. I bet you're glad they did, no?
Yeah, we were really looking forward to it. Fabulous effort. It's very similar to us before the Scunthorpe one. I'm sure Chris can use that to try and galvanise them as well, to get some momentum behind the players, but I don't think we gave them a chance. I thought we did it everyone to a man. I thought we just put the plan of action in and had too much for them today, I thought. Yeah,
talk to us about Erhan Oztumer. Everyone knows the quality that he's got, but he showed it.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Erhan and Julian before the game, and I had a sit down with them and a chat, and just said about how if those two start linking up, then they can be really dangerous together. We've saw glimpses of that in the last few games, and we know what Erhan can do. Really nice as well, the goals that he scored. Open play, set piece, and then the third one I really like, because we've worked on him arriving in the box more. He does a lot of stuff outside the box, but I've said if you can get yourself in that 6-yard box, then you can add to your goal tally and get 20 plus, and really nice for him to get his 3. He'll get all the accolade, but I think you'll all agree it was a good team performance there. I thought we stifled them, especially second half. Our performance was excellent.
So a great win for the Saddlers at Roots Hall last weekend. It bodes well for the immediate future. And speaking of future, let's bring in our 2 guests, Tom Heslop and Graham Biggs. Academy reporter and Academy manager. Graham, we'll start with you and we'll look at that Southend game to begin with first of all, because overall 7 of the Saddlers' 18-man squad were Academy graduates at the weekend. You look at the starting lineup, Liam Roberts has just signed a new 2.5-year contract, kept a clean sheet in goal. You had Kieran Morris on one wing, Maz Kuyar on the other. You had Corey Roberts coming in after Jack Fitzwater had back spasms in the warm-up with 5 minutes notice, coming into the starting lineup and turning in that sort of performance against a striker like Simon Cox, who scored in the Premier League. You know, just seeing things like that, seeing the number of academy players in the first team for games like that against tough sides, it really does bring home the hard work that you put in, that all your staff put in and have put in over recent years.
Yeah, it's fabulous. To have so many boys around the first team squad is brilliant, and to have that many starting in the lineup regularly is absolute, you know, testament to the club, to the academy, and to what we're trying to achieve. We spoke earlier off air about the philosophy, and the philosophy of the academy is really important. That the main philosophy is really to produce our own players for the first team. And a few years ago, the chairman wanted the philosophy to help and develop local boys, and they're all local kids. So for us, it's, you know, it's an absolute privilege to be able to sit here and see the success that's actually happening with the first team.
The likes of Rico Henry came through the academy system. Yeah. The likes of Matty Fryatt came through the academy system. Yeah. Of course, Matty recently retired through injury, but his record speaks for itself. Rico's obviously doing well for himself as well. Yeah. It's not a new thing, is it? This has been going on for a decade or more. Yeah,
there's a few you've mentioned there. Troy Deeney actually came in late to the system. Troy's obviously a captain in the Premier League. Scotty Dan, another captain in the Premier League, he came through. At the moment, there's Jamie Patterson flying high with Bristol City, obviously Will Grigg, and there's numerous ones that are coming through. A lot of people don't appreciate the academy so big as it is. You know, we're talking of probably 200 boys plus. You know, when you look at the academy, it's from pre-academy at 8s right the way through to the 23s, the development squad. And everything in between. So, you know, a lot of people look at the academy and think of the under-18s, but it's a far bigger picture than that.
And how important is it for the lads from the 8s through to the 23s? How important is it for them to see the likes of Corey and Liam and Kieran and Maz and Amadou? How important is it for them right from a young age to see that hang on, if you've got the right stuff, obviously, but if your attitude is right, your application is right, the pathway's alive for you. There's an opportunity. The manager is willing to give young academy players a chance. How important is that for them to see, for their parents to see?
It's vital. It's vital. You obviously for the boys, but obviously the boys are guided by the parents. So when we sit down and we're trying to sign a boy that is a genuine pathway for our first team, it's really important that the pathway is sold to player and parents.
Which was something you told me earlier that really interested me about not just producing talented footballers, but producing men. You know, making sure that these players, when they come through the system, that you're setting them up for all aspects of life, not just football. Can you just go into a bit of detail as to what sort of angle that takes, or you know what the club does and that sort of thing?
We've got a really good reputation around the country. Something that's been introduced many years ago, and something that we've kept going with it. And that's respecting opposition, respecting referees, respecting coaches, and all of our kids, right the way from 8s through to the 23s. Always respect people. They go up and they shake their hands, and you know, they use manners. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's how society is, and we really instill that. So although it's our job to produce footballers, unfortunately every single one of them that come through the academy are not going to get to the professional ranks, but what we're trying to do is develop young men as well.
And with that, the work experience scheme that the club does, for example, I mean the likes of Joe Cairns were on it last year, for example. That's important as well, isn't it? To see that they've got that.
We're trying to develop all sorts of things, and it was a pilot that we did a few years ago. I think Tobias Hayes Doherty's group, Shoraka was the first group that what we actually wanted to do was, if boys are not successful, this is the real world. So we actually put at the end of the season put them on a week's work experience, and with local companies who have been great supporting the academy, they've gone out, done a week's work, and hopefully giving them almost a drive to actually achieving football, because they don't want to do mundane jobs.
I remember seeing Joe Cairns at Barhale.
That's right.
Packaging things and things like that. He was loving it. He was relishing it.
And that's again, you know, credit to the boys and credit to what we're trying to achieve in the academy. Everyone cannot be a footballer. It's so difficult. The percentages are so. The success rate is smaller to succeed than failure, unfortunately. So if we can produce young men who are mature adults who go out there and have a go at it, then that's what we're really proud of that.
Tom, just introduce you here. You've been in the unique position this season of having seen both the youth team in action and the first team this season. Just looking at the likes of Corey and Liam, for example, how impressive have those guys been, particularly in the first team setup? Because they've not looked overall by any stretch, have they?
Not at all, and I think the thing you've got to look at, like Graham and yourself picked up on, the philosophy of the club is to bring players through the academy, and it's testament to the likes of Graham and everybody else, showing just the sort of players that this club's developing. Corey, for example, nobody can outshine him at the moment. He seems like a well-built lad. He's only young. Players like him at other clubs in the division wouldn't be getting the same sort of opportunities that he has, and to show that he's ready to come in 5 minutes before a game because Jack's been pulled out with an injury is a testament to what he's been doing for the last couple of years. Yeah, he might have come into the system a bit later than other players, but it just goes to show that he's ready, and that anybody at this club is ready to come in when they're needed, and they will give everything.
I mean, you've seen the likes of Dan O'Sullivan, Steph Mason in action this season, both of whom were named in senior squads for the Checkatrade Trophy games earlier on in the season. And tying into what Graham says earlier, it's things like that as well, isn't it? It's not necessarily just the fact that Corey's starting or that Liam's starting. It's seeing the likes of young lads like Dano, like Stefan. It shows to them that the pathway is alive, because they're suddenly going into the home team changing room at a senior game, seeing their name on their shirt, on the back of the peg sort of thing, and warming up with the team, heading down the touchline and warming up, getting themselves ready. That's important as well, isn't it? And again, ties into what Graham says about the pathway being alive.
It's a sense of achievement for the lads, really. It just goes to show if you are doing things right with the development squad, with the under-18s, the manager will give you your chance, whether it's in a cup game, whether it's in a league game. At the end of the day, to those lads, it is still testament to their behaviour and what they're trying to achieve at a younger level. If they show themselves in the right way, then it just goes to show that this club will take you seriously as a footballer, and it will try to push you on to the next level. One
thing I have to ask you about, Tom, you've been with us for the season now. The academy staff, are they looking after you on match days?
Fantastic. He does his very best. And
does he make you plenty of tea? That's the main
He does make me plenty of tea, and now after making plenty of tea.
That's right.
But no, the staff are there to do a job, and it goes to show if the team lose, they look at the positives, they try and pick out the positives from it, and if there's points that need improving on, then Graham will also pick those out, and in the next game you'll see that those bits that weren't quite right in the last game have been improved on, and it's all about improvement and getting things right in games. And I think Graham, a testament to what he does with the under-18s, because you can see where the team's going.
I feel bad now. I was trying to get a nice segue into the next question. I wasn't asking you to appraise Graham live on Sadler's TV, so apologies for that. But Graham, in terms of the staff, which is where I was trying to go with it, there has been a bit of restructuring, hasn't there? This season, the likes of, I mean, just 2 examples, Des Duffus has come in, Jacob Ayers has come in. There's been quite an influx of new academy staff, hasn't there? And I mean, for these guys as well, I suppose coming in and working with the academy lads, it must be as much of an education for them as it is for the players. I mean, just in terms of the restructuring and the new staff that have come in, was you presumably as academy manager would have headed that up?
Yeah, I did. And again, when I talk about development, we had Dean Harris, who came through as an intern. He worked with the first team, worked with us, was a great lad, and went to the Villa. We'll
let him off.
Yeah, and that's where Desi come in as an intern and took over. We've had 5 new full-time members of staff this year, so the complete academy's been restructured. So we've had a new foundation lead, which is Dwayne Allen. We've had a new youth development, Ben King. Carl Kirby, my right-hand man who helps me an awful lot, is the PDP coach. We've had a new head of academy coaching, which is Rob Williams. So we've got some really good staff who work really hard for the cause.
And they're learning as they're going as well.
Absolutely. I think certainly Dwayne and Ben are now lead phase coaches in their own right. Do it slightly different, but they work hard for the club, for the cause. Rob Williams has come in as head of academy coaching, it's a role which I previously held, but Rob has actually taken it to a different level. He's put so many CPD events on this season, which is again testament to what we're trying to do, developing our own.
That's brilliant from Rob, but I've got to ask, does he get some stick?
Yes.
Rob Williams.
Robbie Williams, he can sing as well.
Can he?
He can.
Have you made him?
Yes.
Excellent, that sounds about right. Thank you, Graham, and thank you, Tom, for joining us for the first half of Sadler's TV. We'll be back in just a few short moments' time after this quick break, where we'll take you behind the scenes of our recent overnight trip to Gillingham. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to Sadler's TV. I'm here today with Academy reporter Tom Heslop and, more importantly, Academy manager Graham Biggs. No offence, Tom, I didn't mean it that way. Let's have a look at what the lads get up to on an overnight trip away to Gillingham, shall we? They've had a few overnight trips lately, haven't they? Away to Southend and away to Gillingham as well. And we gave Luke Leahy the camera to see what exactly happens behind the scenes on an away trip.
The beers in for the we're starting now. Yeah, we're recording. What's your Snapchat, John? Nah. One practice round. No. Everyone close eyes, please. No. This is open. How do you mean, Joe? You're I actually feel bad asking, but I do want to walk. Everyone open. Is that right? John. Hey. And us really minus points. Anyone else want to walk? Not for now. Please, George, please. Please.
Justin's laughing, but he's always happy though. I just saw Corey Rick, I just think. Because Flo don't know the game. No, I just saw Corey Rick, I just think. 99% of the time. I just saw Corey Rick, I just think. I saw Corey Rick, I just think. Great work, George. I'm in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in. What do you want to do, 10?
Five there. What, play for class? No. I'm getting a 10.
Can't speak to you like that.
Ref any of the game. What do you want that? How can I little mock flew out there? That wouldn't be a 2 game. Well, you wouldn't know. That's not
How would you possibly cheat?
Of course you can cheat.
How can you cheat?
Well, you wouldn't know.
Come and tell me how you could cheat.
I could cheat and look at Joe's hand. Which you did last time. He's not ref. If you look at his hand, you're going to change your hand. I know what's coming to me and I can't change it. You have to put your best hand up. No, but he's, before you get it, I passed him a card and he saw what a card has passed him, so he's then not going to pass something that we can use.
Cheating.
Nick, you're doing well, mate.
What do you want me to do? Shut your eyes so you
Take
don't
a point off if you want.
Yeah, I think they should both be back on 0.
Oh, yeah, that one. I will.
take the card. Costly victory.
I didn't know, man. He did it.
Okay, you can steal the cards, mate.
Alright.
It's a horrible card.
Right, hands. Hang on, wait, I'm not ready.
Maz and Corey, bro, you know what they're like?
Just watching your hands.
Corey.
Try to send a message.
Have you got better than 3 threes or not? Who's got 3 threes? Just not before.
Who am I passing?
Yes, Key, what you say, man?
Hey!
Right.
Because he gave Dobbo gave Key one last time.
John, you're passing to me.
Maz.
3 hands, but I think like they're winners. I think they're winners.
Maz.
I bet he wins them all. I'm not feeling I'm going to win them all. If I don't win them all, then there's something wrong with this game.
Go on then.
Go on, crash or not? You've only got 3 hands. I know. Well, so you can't win them all. You can't crash in it. That's why I didn't crash. Oh, wow. Well, go on, how have you got? I'm going to win these 3 cards. Yeah. I know. No, someone put their... No, you're first, go on. 10s.
That's decent to be fair.
Yes, that's 1-0 to Chopper. Oh.
Wow, what's down at the first half?
6, 7, 8 on the bounce. 4s. 9. Oh, you, if you got
6s.
No! 7s. 8, 2, 3.
How did I not win a hand with it?
Hang on! Have you got 8, 2, 3? No, you're fine that. 8, 2, 3. Yeah, 10 flush. My 10 there. But I get a point for that there. So how many points do I get? 1? And then some of them hands, I get 1 point. How many do you get? You got 4. I got 1 for my 10s.
No, you won 2, Joe.
No, on that.
And 8, 2, 3.
Nah, stop it with me. How many hands did you win? 1 because of my spare 10. Spare 10? Spare 10 for what? I had 4 10s. That's what I was doing.
Don't let them win, bro. Don't let them win.
Right, if you cheat from now on, that's you out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fair.
If you cheat, yeah. Yeah.
No. Did he just swap my hands?
I've got.
Let's have a look then. Key!
Me and Kieran, roomie. Last time we roomed together, you got dropped, didn't you? Oh, look at the shower. Nice. Not many haircuts left there.
He's learning his words for this. No, I can't. There's one bit I just can't get. I'm a bit. No, not there.
I was saying last time me and Kieran roomed together, he got dropped. No, I got beat by Plymouth.
Yeah, I got smashed like 3-0. Who played left back?
Oh, Key got dropped.
Oh, you can't sing in here.
Perfect singing.
How can you sing in here?
Don't document this. Oh, good lighting for the singing. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Skip.
Vocals warm.
Very well, thank you.
Skip, see, la la la. Skip, see, la la la. Yeah. There's one part I can't get to.
Oh, can you tell
18 by Ed Sheeran.
I got no.
Start.
Bit of Ed Sheeran. 18. White lips. Breathing in the snowflakes. Fat lungs. Sour taste. Nights long. Days end. Struggling to pay rent. Long night estrangement. And they say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face screams. Crumbling like pastry, and they scream the worst things in life come free to us.
Why is he leaning forward?
Go mad for a couple. Angels. Cheers.
Going back to the corner where I first saw you. Gonna camp in my sleeping bag, I'm not gonna move. Got some words on cardboard, got your picture in my hand saying, if you see this girl, can you tell her where I am? Some try to hand me money, they don't understand. I'm not broke, I'm just a broken-hearted man. I know it makes no sense, what else can I do? How can I move on when I'm still in love with you?
Hey!
He's got a bit. Not enough. You got a bit.
Want to, but I can't help it. I love the way you feel. You got me stuck between my fantasy and what's real. I need it when I want it. I want it when I don't. Tell myself I stop every day, knowing that I won't. I got a problem, I don't know what to do. Even if I did, I don't know if I would, but I got it high. Taken by the thought of it. And I know this much is true. Baby, you got my addiction. I'm so strong on you. I can barely move. I like it. And it's all because of you.
So there you have it, plenty of card games. John Guthrie cheats at cards apparently, who knew? And plenty of initiation songs as well from Justin Shibu, George Dobson and Jack Fitzwater. Tom, I've got to ask, who impressed you most there?
Justin's got a fantastic voice, I have to admit.
Some pipes.
I didn't think he was going to come out with something like that.
Brilliant stuff. Justin, there you go. You win Walsall Stars in your eyes for this week. Let's get back to the Academy chat. First of all, Graham, let's look ahead to Friday because another game, this time at noon on Friday afternoon, which is an interesting time for a game of football at home to Tranmere Rovers at Rahal Lane. A few games postponed lately. There's been a while without a game. Is that as frustrating for you as coaches as much as the players when you don't have those sorts of games?
Yeah, it's really difficult to keep motivated. You're trying to keep the lads motivated to train, to try and put things into place. And obviously they know that there's no game. The way the weather was the weekend, that sort of kills you. So it's really difficult. So we're trying to do sort of all sorts of things, invasion games. We were lucky enough to get down to the university to do something on Thursday because of the weather. The gaffer has been really good and we've used the first team training ground. So we've just tried to do things to keep them ticking over, but obviously at the end of the week you want the game, that's what you're training for, so it's really frustrating for everybody. But we're looking good and hopefully that everything will be on Friday.
Is it, I mean, it's impossible to replicate that competitive nature of a first team game. So how does it affect the lads? Obviously there's the legs to consider where you've not got that much practice behind you heading into the next game, but mentally as well, keeping them switched on must be important in terms of the...
Yeah, and we try and put sort of competitions within the group to try and keep that competitive edge. But there is nothing like a competitive game. You know, we've had games, put 16s in, played in 11v11 and mixed it up, but it's not like playing in opposition. So we do what we can do. We do the best that we can do with that.
I mean, Tom, for you, it's got to be frustrating for you as well. You want to be reporting on the youth team as well. But I mean, from what you've seen this season, the lads, they look like they're taking a professional approach into every game anyway, don't they?
Yeah, and I think, again, I keep saying it's testament to Graham and the staff there. They always come into games looking to produce their best, and this season, individually, they've all got parts of their game that, all right, they still need to develop on. But as a unit, they're moving forward. There may be a mistake here, a mistake there, but that's football. They will learn from those mistakes. They always go about things professionally. They always go into a game looking to achieve their next goal. There will always be a goal for them to achieve, and that they're always going into the next fixture. They're not looking ahead to it. They're focused on what they've got to achieve. That's the goal in front of them.
And Graham, just a little chat about the future of the academy as well. You were telling me about some interesting news coming up the stairs here to the studio today, an audit for the club. Just tell me what sort of format that takes and the process that's involved with that.
Every 3 years, every football club in the country has to go through an audit, and that's to make sure the philosophies are in place, and cultures and facilities and everything that you can think of. And it's really, really important. And in the summer, Kyle Kirby, myself, we rewrote the APP, and that is the Academy Performance Plan, and it's just under 1,000 slides, and that tells you, literally, that's Walsall's Bible. It's not copying anyone else's because it's ours, it's what we do. It's got everything from our philosophy to transport policies to education to sports science to everything that you can think of. And the auditors will have a 4-day visit, and they'll look at foundation phase, youth phase, professional phase, speak to the gaffer, speak to the chief executive, check that what we're saying that we do, and it's really important. But there's an awful lot of work gone into that, which you know, we keep, by the Football League, being told to, you know, shout from the rooftops of what we're doing so well.
Are these audits part of the Elite Player Performance Plan that came in a few years ago? Yeah,
that's how it started, and I've been on this programme before, and there's a lot of negatives with the EPP, but I think what it actually does is raise standards, and I think it's been really important. You would feel that everybody's got various ways of doing things, which of course is not a problem, but what the EPP done is it's standardised things, and I think it's really important that people are aware of that.
And so when does the audit begin? When does it finish specifically this time around?
It's our audit is in the middle of April, and it's an external auditor who comes in, and there's 4 people come in for 4 days, and they check, like I say, they go through the whole thing. So for 4 days they'll be in the club, around the club, at games, at first team game, 18s game, schoolboy games, schoolboy training, under 18s training, so it's really important.
And do they check Tom's reporting as well?
I don't think so. I think you can hide Tom.
Okay, we'll just have to keep auditing your work there, Tom, unfortunately. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Saddlers TV today. Tom Heslop and Graham Biggs, a genuine pleasure to have you on this very first episode of Saddlers TV, the brand new season, right here from our lovely new studio in Walsall Studio School. In fact, you know what, final question? What do you think of the studio? It's lovely, isn't it?
Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, brilliant.
It's very green. There's Tom Heslop giving away trade secrets there on Saddlers TV, but we're done. Thank you very much for joining us on this very first episode of the new season of Saddlers TV. A huge thank you to everyone at Walsall Studio School for producing and hosting us here in our lovely new studio. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us.